times and even finding short. Right, so 1 week ago, I released a playtest of my racing game, Apex Rush. Since then, it's already been downloaded nearly 20,000 times, and a lot of you guys have been grinding the game for fast times and even finding shortcuts for even faster runs. There's also been a ton of great feedback for the game, which I appreciate. So today I'm also going to be going through what I've changed and added to Apex Rush in version 1.2 to make the game better. So one day after the game was released, I started a contest. $100 to whoever can set the fastest time without using any shortcuts and going through every single checkpoint. An additional $100 for the fastest time, where you then could use any shortcuts and skips you could find on the map, which got very interesting. As well as $100 to whoever submitted the coolest clip. On day one, I also released a quick hotfix just to improve some steering delay, as well as tweaking a few settings to improve the performance of the game. But before I show you what's new in the game, let's go and take a look at who set the fastest time. Just about an hour after the game came out, people were already getting some crazy times. You can see here 2:37 from Shadow, 2:38 from Ginger Shark, and you guys just kept on grinding, sharing the best times over and over again, and it was a lot of fun to actually follow this chat and see what you guys came up with. But eventually MadPie showed up with a 2:31.791. This ended up being the fastest run of the contest, so let's go and take a look at how he achieved this time. I think my best was like 2:39, so yeah, he's very fast. All right, here it is. So I believe he's using controller for this as well, because he's doing some very, very fine steering, as you can see, reaching 160 in the first 2 corners, which is insane. And you'll see throughout this run, he uses every single technique possible to gain speed, like landing sideways here to roll down to get some more speed. It flies through this, lands perfectly along the line, just goes right next to it. And yeah, you guys can actually use controller now, but I'll get into that a bit more later. And yeah, then just perfectly nails this gap right here. Bit of a wall tap, but yeah, doesn't lose any time. 33 seconds for the first checkpoint. Now, this is where people started using some really cool tactics. So, you'll notice that he slows down here and listens for the checkpoint sound, and instantly he respawns to that checkpoint. I can rewind for you guys. This is what a lot of you guys started doing. So, as soon as you hear that sound, you just respawn back, and yeah, you can just keep on going. Now, it's a visual bug that it just says checkpoint 1 up in the corner still. But yeah, as you can see, he hits 290 here in the tunnel, just going straight, using the walls there to eventually land checkpoint 3, which will mess up the text up in the corner. I didn't really take into account that people are going to be using these strats, so yeah, that is why the checkpoint text, looks a bit weird. And I believe it does a skip here as well. He chose not to go through the rings, but instead go below it to save time. Of course, less air time means more track time, so you'll go through the track faster. He actually rides against the wall here to get a lot of speed. Reaches 300 there before he jumps into the loop, which is the fastest I've seen so far. And then he just goes perfectly around the loop and nails these 2 jumps here. And then up here, I kind of expected more people to jump to the checkpoint and then just instantly respawn like they did previously. Yeah, he just managed to get up there super clean. And yeah, just keeps on going. Maybe that gained more speed, I'm not really sure. But yeah, definitely seemed to work for him. As you can see, he just keeps on holding full gas here. Nails these corners too. And then it's just 2 easy jumps and then finish line. And there it is, a 2:31.791. Yeah, MadPie, GG's. This guy has world records in Trackmania, so didn't really surprise me that he managed to get this time. But anyways, GG's, you won the restricted time contest. And now for some more interesting techniques, the unrestricted, where you could use any skips or shortcuts. So let's take a look at what you guys came up with here. Now we started off seeing some jumps like this. This one is also by MadPie, using this mountain here to just jump up to this platform. This, I think, was the only platform that you can actually hit, and use this part of the track to set the unrestricted time. Now, people got close. We saw a 1:23.652. Masaboy coming back with a 1:23.528, saying, damn, y'all slow. And then MadPie came in with a 1:20.492. Yeah, MadPie ended up being kind of unstoppable in this contest, to be honest. But with 1 hour and 37 minutes to go, Masaboy submitted a 1:12.571. And with this time, he did end up winning the unrestricted contest, so GG's Masaboy. He just goes the other way, gets a good bump here to go off and into the water. That's a perfect flip to line him up for this run up here. Yeah, he found this mountain right here, which of course launches him to the same track piece as MadPie and a bunch of other people. Yeah, Masaboy just ended up getting the fastest time. Of course, he's gonna run the track now as usual, all the way to the finish line without any fails. And he sets the fastest time that I've seen so far, a 1:12.571. Now, there was a lot of cool clips submitted for sure. It's actually gonna be quite hard to pick a winner. We have so many cool clips right here. This one, for example, by Night Rip. This was the first clip submitted, and a bunch of people also had clips on this spot, because you could get some pretty funny spins and flips going off of those rings. This one by Zonix. This one is probably the most satisfying one. Lands there, get a bump into a perfect double kickflip with the car to land it. Super, super smooth, and yeah, just keeps on going like nothing ever happened. This one was sent by Pipe, something like that. And he's gonna hit the edge right here in super slow motion and just managed to dodge the last ring to land super slow-mo here and just continue going down. Also a very, very satisfying clip, especially in slow motion. Gaming Legend 980 hit this clip right here, which is perfectly synced with the drop of the song on his landing. Perfectly timed with the song. Quality a bit weird, but yeah, still really cool clip. This clip was sent in by Cope, also by the rings here. As you will see, he's gonna turn and gets an almost perfect 360 through those rings to continue on the track. Really nice clip. GLX Vlad sent this one in. Some more cool kick flips, lean on the track. Night Drip once again turned his car into a skateboard right here. As you can see, he's gonna land in a board slide for quite a while until it just continues on the track. Another clip here by Cope, also super clean. Double barrel roll all the way up to the platform up here. Super nice landing, and yeah, just kept on going through the checkpoint. Ginger Shark sent in this right here, a little edit. Goes through the rings. On the drop, changes to nighttime in the Thunder version. Then hits a jump over here. We have the lightning going on in the background. This clip was sent in by Shadow, who is a really good GTA 5 stunter. He jumps off of the mountain right here and actually gets a precision stunt through the spinning pipe. And yeah, eventually manages to land his car in here as well. There was a bunch of other cool clips submitted as well, but I think I'm gonna give it to Zonix. I don't know, there's something about this barrel roll right here, getting a bit of an unlucky landing and then just keep on going with it. It was so hard to pick a winner for this one, but yeah, I just thought that this one was super satisfying and clean. Now, to start, there was quite a few people who thought the game was a bit too hard. Now, while I had made the game purposefully challenging, I might have overdone it a little bit. You know, obviously, I've been playing the game for the past 2 months, so I've gotten really used to it. So I've actually done some tuning to the handling, and I also made a bunch of changes in the game to help with performance and FPS on all PCs. So yeah, here's some of the changes that I've made for version 1.2, which is out now. Like I said, I continue to tweak the steering rise and fall rate, which basically determines how fast the wheels can turn and then go back to a resting position. I also made some minor changes to the cornering stiffness to help with turning both at low and high speeds. So if you struggled with the first couple of jumps, it should now be a lot easier, as you don't really have to take the corner with a perfect apex and full speed to make those first 2 jumps. I fixed a bug where if you respawn before crossing the starting line, you just end up in the bottom of the ocean. But yeah, now when you respawn, you just go back to the start. I added a respawn layer to the water, so now if you fall off into the water, it's gonna play a little splash sound and then just take you back to the last checkpoint that you crossed. I also ended up adding another checkpoint once you cross the ramp transition jump through the rings. Some people found this section a bit too long from one checkpoint to another, so now it should help with completing the map maybe a bit easier. If you fell out of the loop after crossing the first person trigger box and then respawn back, it will actually keep you in first person, but now it's gonna change you back to third person whenever you respawn. I also raised the camera slightly when in third person just to help with seeing a bit better on the track, especially on the downwards sections on the track. You can now also play with a controller without any issues, and you will have the same binds available as you have on keyboard. There's a new controls menu in the main menu as well as in the pause menu, and if you're having any issues getting the controller to work, you can just add the game to your Steam library and it should work perfectly. I actually ended up removing some of the smaller grass foliage and enabled nanite to help with performance. This actually ended up removing about 20,000 individual meshes of grass that most players don't really interact with or see anyways. I also added culling to the grass, which makes it so that some of the grass or some of the foliage only renders in when you're at a specific distance. There's also 2 new settings in the graphics settings, which are reflection quality and overall effect quality. The effect quality takes into consideration a bunch of factors in the levels that can actually help you a lot if you have a lower end PC and if you've experienced lag on some of the previous versions. So yeah, go and try that out and let me know if it runs any better. There's also an optimal quality button, which you just can press and it's gonna load the best settings for your PC. So yeah, you can also try that out. You can now also click the save settings button, which is gonna save all of the graphics settings throughout all the levels, and it's also gonna save the settings even if you exit the game. Now overall, with these new graphics settings, I was able to achieve about 170 FPS with some of the lower settings selected and about 100 FPS with some of the higher settings. In the pause menu, you can now also access the graphics settings and also see the controls. I also threw in some decals of some tire skid marks in a couple of corners, just to add some detail and also preview how it's gonna look once I add skid marks from my car. I also saw some people commenting about the car. Yes, it is of course inspired by the Envision 74. Some were under the impression that I had claimed that I designed the car as an original, which if you guys have watched the series from the start, I mentioned then that it's very heavily inspired by that car. Then of course my model was upgraded into the version that 7HC made that has a lot of custom tuning and bodywork done to it. So yeah, I just wanted to clear it up if there was any confusion with that. Now, there's still things I have written down here that I want to fix, but I think that is pretty good for a week 1 update, adding all of those things. And yeah, I think the game is gonna run a lot better now, and it should also be a bit easier. Now, with the interest that you guys have all shown, I definitely want to keep working on this game, adding more levels, more cars, challenges, achievements. I mean, the list goes on to what you could really add to this game, and then eventually release it as a full game, maybe on, say, Steam or even on consoles. Yeah, there's still a bit left to do before I can do that. Yeah, so version 1.2 is available right now over on itch.io. The link is, of course, down in the description. I also want to say big thank you to everybody who actually chose to pay for the game. Obviously, it's not needed at all, but all the money will, of course, be invested back into the production, of the game. But that's gonna be it for today. Quite a long video, a lot of talking, but I just wanted to get you guys up to date on where I'm at right now. And go and try the new version, let me know what you think, and I'll catch you guys later. Take care.